Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to talk to you guys about the new chapter of One Piece, which is on chapter 1153. This chapter right here was very beautiful, depending on your point of view, but the way how it went towards that ending, oh my lord, I'm like scratching my head right now. It makes me want to vomit so badly. So if anything else, let's just get this started right away. We get to see a narration about Dory Brogy and wild childhood, how to share a wild childhood with Harold, the Prince of Elbaf. They actually had dreams about causing a lot of trouble. They had very strong bodies, etc. And they were known to be very like destructive. That much is to be said. Other than that, we get to see King Harold finding a giant being used as an attraction and take a look at Gondor at Ida or something like that. At this point, everyone was so scared looking at her and they wonder what the heck is going on. King Harold, realizing what's happening, decides to go over there and cause some major trouble and destroy the entire place. We have to it that Ida's like, hey, who are you? What are you? He goes like, oh, I'm the king of Elbaf. I just couldn't stand by sit back while they slight in my homeland or hurt you. We have to Ida slaps her and slaps him in the face, and everyone's like, what the hell? And King Harold's like, what did I do? I just saved your life. And we had to King Harold is like, what? You want to apologize to the people that hurt you? Are you kidding me? We had to Ida roughs up King Harold pretty badly. Says, hey, do you have any idea what they did for me? Huh, you idiot? Look, they took me in and gave me work after finding me adrift on the brink of death. Thanks to their kindness, I was able to earn enough to eat and recover from my injuries. Ida grabs King Harold and cries in great tears, saying, hey, how dare you call these humans little dolls? What the hell is that supposed to mean? You would just happen to be born big with great strength. What is that supposed to make you any better than humans, you arrogant disgrace? This kind of stuff is the reason why giants are always lumped with you Elbaf savages. And King Harold's like, I was just born big? What are you talking about? By that time, King Harold decides to bring Ida back to the village and she decides to help him repair. By that time, we get to see that she's getting along with the humans that took care of her. We had to King Harold, on the other hand, tells his men to help her out repair the village, and they end up doing a nice big job. Of course, like we have to it that that Ida and Harold got along really nicely after Harold decides to work with or spend time with some humans. By that time, we get to see King Harold and Ida go on some nice adventures, which apparently we get to know about Ida, which I believe is King Harold's like first woman, which is kind of a spoiler, but it was showed in here anyway. She ends up explaining that she was born from the island in the South Blue. By that time, have you ever been over the blood-soaked serpent? And they end up going on some nice adventures and looking at some cultures. And of course, like King Harold does tell Ida, hey, how about you come to Elbaf? We're not as savage as you think. And Ida's like, yeah, maybe I judge you too harshly. By that time, King Harold decides to announce to the kingdoms like, hey, I want to tell you guys this right now. We committed countless sins and it's time we have atoned for them. As king, I want to travel to overseas and maybe learn a lot about their cultures and make our land more prosperous and better. Everyone's like, well, Dory and Brogy's not going to stop running wild, you know. And Harold's like, well, I go back with those two. They always had an unusual disposition. They've never failed to treat humans fairly and honorably. So we can still hold on to our warrior ways. Of course, we may have to reconsider some traditions if other countries feel threatened. Of course, we got to see some elder giants going like, well, this gotta be something fun. This gotta be interesting. By that time, Ida does tell everyone, well, Elbaf is very much blessed. By that time, we get to see Harold going to different human islands or countries and trying to understand trades and all that, which I thought it was pretty nice and beautiful. We get to see that after 81 years ago, or something like that, Ida and Harold finally has a baby. Unfortunately, the giants of royal family, or whatever they come from whatsoever, they cannot accept the marriage, saying only a pure blood can be permitted within the royal family. And of course, Harold's like, hey, I'm very sorry, Ida. They are really screwed up. There's nothing I can do. And Ida's like, hey, all these issues boil down to cultures. Our feelings alone won't change things, okay? And of course, the Giants therefore tells Ida, hey, you're welcome to our village anytime, and that won't change anything. By that time, we get to see Harujin as a baby, you know, and I thought he was really cute, no denying that. However, there is one that is shown in this rest of the chapter, and I can imagine how they're gonna animate this and how the voice actor is gonna be. I feel like I'm gonna really be ticked and very amazed if it's done well. Now, you guys might be asking me, what the heck are you even talking about? I'll get to it in just a moment. This other half of the chapter is shown of King Harold's future bride. Apparently her name is Lady Estrid, carries the noble blood of the ancient giants, and she's truly fit to become a queen. And we get to see that she's a very screwed up personality person, or has a screwed up personality. She goes like, hey, I'm fated to love you for the rest of my life. Forget about that Eastern woman and her son, which she calls a bastard. Sorry for my cussing, by the way. And he goes like, hey, you gotta be careful right there. But she goes like, hey, she ends up making some stuff up, saying, oh, she's known to be a person of, like, from the alcohol village, but she also seems to read energies about, here our line, King Spirit is leaking quick, shut the windows, and that mirror is positioned in a lethal 5-star configuration, dispose of it. And she also has a horse named Ashura, the horse of good fortune. It's a fine steed, worthy of you, your majesty. Consider it a gift from my family. It's sure to bring you good fortune. They go like, whoa, why does it have 8 legs? It's very big. And of course she goes like, hey guards, take all the jewels and gold to my room. The king's ministry should be focused on the energies of earth and wind. Also inform the servants that from today onward, the king and I will take all our meals from silver platters. And I'm thinking in my mind, dude, the way how she is, she's like really spoiled and highly arrogant and very messed up, possibly. That's just how she is, depending on how she was raised and what she must have gone through. But other than that, King Harold continues to travel between islands and learn from other countries and other cultures. Even spread his stories to the children of Elbaf or something like that. About like meeting fishmen, mermaids, people carry blood of the ocean, prince of the born named Neptune, fishmen, mermen, you name it. But eventually, many years pass, and the queen ends up giving birth to a healthy boy, and his name is Loki. I spoke with the king about it, and let me look at his face, and oh my lord. The moment she looked at her son's face, she was absolutely horrified, like, going like, what the living did I just see right now? She was like freaking disgusted. Like, she goes like, no way, what the hell is this? This is utterly unacceptable. It's cursed. It's a monster. And unfortunately, even Loki seems to be crying, maybe understanding what her mother says. By that time, that woman, she threw her baby out the castle. Like, it says the most unfortunate souls are rejected from the birth of their own mother, and no one was able to comfort him. And that woman says, listen to me, no child was born today. I forbid you from telling anyone. And Estrid, Lady Estrid, that freaking spoiled noble punk female dog, is trying to leave, saying, I will never give birth again, and says it's coming from the realm of the dead. And she goes like, what about it? And of course, we get to see baby Loki climbing the freaking mountain right now, crying in tears, trying to survive. By that time, we get to see Queen Estrid collapse due to ill health, and she even tells her servants and guards to dispose of that child. It's becoming clear that this was foretold before it came into the world. It is said that King Harold will someday be slain by his own son. And right now, King Harold struggled against the walls of diplomacy, especially with the world government, and why can't countries just be free? We get to see Ida talking to her son Haruji, saying, hey, you got a little brother on the way. He goes like, hey mom, if it's not your kid, how can I call him my little brother? And then the narration ends up, from then on, every misfortune that struck Elbaf was chalked up to Loki's curse. And it says the accursed prince is born. And next week, we're having a break. Well, damn. Just wow. Like, seriously, this woman, Lady Astrid, is just, ugh. I don't need to say anything more than that. Depending on your point of view, you will understand where I'm coming from. If not, well, all I could tell you that she is one spoiled, filthy, big, lousy female dog. I could say the other word, but I already said too much of my cussing already, so I'm going to try to limit that right now. Forgive me. The moment she looked at her baby and he had those eyes that I don't think is that bad. Well, depending on one's point of view and how you look at it the first time, you may be kind of creeped out. But the way what she did to her child or baby, if I was there and I was very strong, I'd knock some sense out of her myself. Where the hell is King Harold, dude? Seriously. Oh my lord. If he was there, oh man, I can imagine how ticked he would be of what she just did. I got nothing else to say. Next week, we're going to be on break for One Piece, I believe, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Oda, take your breaks as much as you can, man. You need to take your breaks. And after you gave us this chapter, I think it's going to, the way how you ended off in that cliffhanger, I will be very want the chapter to hurry up, but you know what? Take your breaks. I need to take a break right now, too. I'm like, oh my lord, what did I just read right now? Ugh. So, until then, I'll see you guys later. I'm Alpha Zitto. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.